What's up, everybody? This is Harry Bernard Taylor. I'm coming at you live. We're on Facebook. We on YouTube. I'm with my man Christopher Burton
People's Podcaster.
and with our man Jett Morris.
What's going on, guys?
All right. And Jett, we're happy that he's here. He's our guest. Jett is a professional wrestler. He wrestles at a lot of different independent territories.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in here tonight. He's going to discuss a little AEW Dynamite with us and a little bit of AEW Rampage. And plus, we're going to talk to him a little bit about his independent wrestling career. So, Chris, we're going to start off, man. We're going to start off with AEW Rampage. Let me get back to it. Let's see. First match, man, we had Adam Cole versus Frankie Kazarian Wednesday night. What you think about that match?
Well, I had to go back and rewatch it because I was getting off work and I didn't get to see it. But obviously, he got the whole Adam Cole pop, the whole Adam Cole everything, and I was actually kind of happy that they did the boom. You know,
Can't lose that, right?
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't. And I'm surprised they didn't do that at the pay-per-view, man, when he came out. And I was like, what? I'm like, y'all a little slow on the tape. But anyway, so, and from what I saw, man, it was a good technical wrestling match.
Right.
What you expect, because Adam's very technical. He can wrestle you. He can fight you. And same with Frankie. The only difference is Frankie was just a bigger guy.
Yes.
But other than that, I have no problems with the match, man. It was great.
Yeah.
No, I got to see some of that one. That was that was the typical for me Adam Cole match that you've seen.
Other than that, I have no.
Yeah, I don't know. He just Adam Cole. That kind of goes back if you watch his ROH days. That's kind of like the kind of matches that he had then, and that was the good thing about NXT was like it was more of the independent scene. You don't see that as much as when you get into the main roster with WWE, but that seemed like the Adam Cole kind of match, and Kazarian, like that's not the first time they've been in the ring with each other. They've seen each other in ROH and all that stuff. So I mean, it was one of their good matches that they've always had. I was pretty impressed with it. And Adam Cole, I mean, he hasn't been out. It's not like he's been out of the ring long. What was he out? A couple weeks?
Yeah.
Contract ran. So I mean, it wasn't like the 90 days or whatever. And I mean, even 90 days for those guys, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still trained. He looks good. I think he's the top guy. He's one of my favorite. No matter what he does, he's very entertaining. He's fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty good match, man. I mean, it's kind of like these guys was a little getting a little familiar with each other again. But I mean, they both like you said, man, they both have that technical style and they put it together well. Neither one of them wanted to actually be a bruiser in this match against each other, but I mean, pretty much at the end of the match, both of them did kind of like decided to, hey, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do some things, man. That's kind of like out of the wrestling rules, man. So I can get the advantage of you. And Adam Cole, he prevailed, man. What would you give the match, Chris? As far as okay, we rated by a 4-star, 5-star rating, Jett. So.
Okay.
So I mean, if you want to go, I mean, like,
I'll give it for the match I saw. I give it a 3. It was easily a 3 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with 3. I thought it was good.
Yeah, all right. Me personally, I would go with. I would actually agree and give it a 3 too.
Yeah, I had 1.5. Okay, but go ahead,
yeah,
Chris.
I would say that because it's probably been a while since they actually been in the ring with each other. Yeah. So it took a little minute for them to be like, okay, I remember you did this. I remember, okay, and kind of get that feeling back,
Yeah.
So,
but once they did, it was a good match. So I would definitely.
It ended up being a pretty decent match. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a C+. 3.5. We'll give it a C+. So like I say, it was a pretty good match, and welcome to AEW matches. Adam Cole, and he left off. He left off. He just left off of NXT, man, and he's back doing his thing, and he ran in there smooth. doesn't look like he missed a beat because, like you said, Jett, it hasn't been long since he's been out of the ring, man. Okay, next match, man. We didn't have a match. Let's see. MJF come out and he insulted the New Jersey fans. Then he summoned up Brian Pillman and talked trash about his son, man. You know where he was summoning up Brian Pillman Sr.
Yeah. He was doing the build up for Junior, yeah.
Right. Basically, trashed the fans, and then he called up Brian Pillman Sr. and talked about he's religious and stuff like that, man. He called and pretty much was saying talking bad about Brian Pillman Sr.'s wife and talked about his son. So it was just,
he went all in, man. I was like,
yeah, he did, man.
He's probably one. I mean, he's probably one of the better promo guys in the business, don't you think?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. He's. I mean, that guy. He basically just. I mean, what do you call it? What do you call his sister? Meth Marshall or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that. I'd have to go back and watch. Yeah, he was doing. I mean, he has some good heat for himself.
Yeah. I'm like, and now see. He would have been good back in the 80s. Well, no, I don't know if he would have survived the 80s because fans were crazy back then. They've been young you out in the arena trying to stab you or something. So I don't know.
Yeah,
people would have tried to stab him. But I mean, Flair was the worst, man. I mean, as far as getting people riled up, Flair was awful. But I mean, there was other people that was like that too. But I mean, MJF would be able to do even more back then. He would be able to say even more than he's saying.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So I feel like that there's not as much scripted promos with AEW either, though.
Right.
If it was the other way around with WWE, I feel like maybe it'd been more. He wouldn't be able to do what he does now.
Okay.
So I feel like he's in the right spot with it. I mean, I feel like, AEW probably is like, hey, here's the mic, go do what you want to do.
Oh yeah.
So that's really helped him. But yeah, I mean, he's entertaining when he's out there doing the promos. He's a good wrestler too, but he's very entertaining.
No doubt.
So I feel like for heel, he's probably right now one of the better ones, if not the best promo guy for a heel for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Chris, you want to, because I see a lot of Facebook users, I see a couple names, but, you want to, fill us in on who.
That was one of our new members, Lisa Rodriguez. She just came in and said hello.
How are you?
She was watching the show, and then I guess she signed off. She was heading off to bed. I just said, thank you for watching. So, yeah.
Right. Cool. But, yeah, as far as MJF, man, I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy. I mean, and he's a great ring performer too.
Yeah.
Man, I only see him going to the top. And Chris, I mean, you referenced a while back, and we talked about that. You said, he reminded you of Ric Flair. But man, that reference to Flair, I'm beginning to think, that they have it's a coordination between those two. Because remember, Ric Flair, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. They used to use that all the time. MJF, he talked about that, man. He talks about that. That's something he puts in his promos. And the way he's dressing. I mean, it's a little different style than what Flair was, a little bit more flamboyant. But I mean, the way MJF is doing it, he's doing it at a more sporty style than Flair was a pretty much over the top. Over the top, like he's a business type guy. But man, he still dressed really, really fancy, man. I mean, MJF, and it's for the day. So, hey, man, we just got to see where it goes, man. I just hope they let this guy go to the top. Right now, he has a lot of people that he has to actually climb over because, I mean, they continue to bring new names in, and they putting these people at the top right off. So, we'll see how what they're gonna do with this MJF thing because Brian Pillman, he's above that. You know, in my opinion, he's above that right now. Brian Pillman Jr. But isn't Brian Pillman Jr. supposed to be at this independent show?
On the 25th?
Yes.
Oh wow, nice.
Yes,
nice.
Pillman Jr. Look at the card. He's on there. Yes, he's on there. I don't know if he's gonna show or not, but he's on there. But I know these independent wrestlers. I mean, some of these AEW wrestlers are wrestling in some of these independent areas, but mainly Impact and NWA Power. Because you had the Bunny and NWA Power last night. Not last night, but the night before. Okay. Next we had Jim Ross. His tape segment with he was talking to Brian Pillman Jr. So we're gonna go ahead and skip that. Basically, he was talking to him about what's going on with the MJF situation, and he was talking to him about his dad, and he was there when he was born and all that. So let's next, man. We had Jungle Boy, Christian Cage, and Lizard Man talk junk about the Elite. You see that?
I caught a little bit of that.
Yeah. What about you, Jett?
No, I didn't care. I saw that they were setting up for that match with the 6-man tag coming up, but I did not see anything of the interview. But I'm gonna say, my favorite in AEW is Jungle Boy.
Oh wow, man!
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, don't get him started, man! Don't. Oh Lord.
No. Oh yeah. Wait. I mean.
Oh Lord.
I don't know if he'll ever be the guy that they'll put the heavyweight title on, but I'm a big fan of his. I think he's really good. I think it's just maybe size wise right now for him with the names you got there, and like you said, the names that are going to be brought in, and the names that are still rumored to come in to AEW is really hard with their age to jump over those guys right now. But I would like to see at some point him either I can't see them beating becoming the elite tag title champs right now.
Yeah, they those three against Adam Cole and
Young Bucks.
Young Bucks.
That was the match that they were setting up.
Right.
But I mean, I like to say I don't see them winning that match. Just like what you said, Jett.
It's gonna be a good one though.
It'll be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. But no, I don't see them beating the Elite in that match.
No,
what do the three of them call themselves again? It's like the Super Click. I think that's what it was.
I don't know what they call themselves.
Yeah, I think they're called the Super Click instead of
Jungle Boy and Christian Cage and what is it?
No, he's talking about the Young Bucks.
No, the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. Instead of they call themselves like the Super Click instead of Super Kick. They call themselves the Super Click.
Something like that.
Yeah. They were saying something about it. I thought it was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
And I think it was you, Harry, that said when the Elite's out, you get NWO vibes from those guys. Yes.
When they're all together, when Kenny Omega with them, and then you say they got a couple other guys with them. So it's WCW. I mean this AEW Dynamite finally to me turned the corner, man. As far as they remind me of like a 95, 96 WCW before WCW actually went into went with Nitro when they Clash of Champions. You go back to like the last few Clash of Champions before Nitro and all that. The same vibe, man. Bringing in people they had Rosario Dawson at this Dynamite. WCW was bringing in stars, man. They had like Jason Hervey like that come in. It was the same thing and the same kind of look, man. So it had so much of that WCW vibe and that WCW look. I was really stunned, man. I was just like, wow, this is a lot like WCW. So we're gonna see where it goes, man. Because like I know they want to get on that level. They want to get on that level where WCW was. They're not gonna ever get to where the ratings were because no wrestling is ever gonna get to that no more. Because you got so many channels now, people are on their iPhones and everything like that. So people are not gonna tune into wrestling like that, but doesn't mean that it can't be as popular as it once was. So I don't know. AEW right now, man, has a a great thing going for it. I mean, we getting some real exciting action. Only thing I have against them right now is like if I was in the arena, like AEW Dynamite was a great show for TV, but if I was in the arena, I would have got bored because it was so much talking on AEW Dynamite Wednesday night. It was so much talking, and I've been to shows like that, and I know you have too, Chris. I've been to shows where it was just so much talking, man. And Jett, I'm sure you have too.
Oh yeah.
You don't wrestle on shows like that. Where it was so much talking, man, I was just so bored. I was bored out of my mind. And then by the time the matches got out there, I was like, man, I'm ready to go. So sometimes, man, it could be a great look for TV, and it's a bad look, man. It's just a bad thing for people who's in the arena, and that's something that has to change. You know, I like it when it's just straight wrestling matches, man. Just like when we was up there in Rock Hill the other night, Chris. That was a great show. Because it was too much of that stop and go. The last card that you had, Jett, at APW that we was at, man, that was great, man, because it was mostly action. It was mostly rap, and that's the name on the marquee, and that's what people come to see, man. So, a little bit less show, a little bit more wrestling. So, but as far as I'm not gonna say too much bad about Jungle Boy. I'm kind of like liking him a little bit better than what I did at first, Chris. But just like I told Michael, I think that's like one of Michael's favorite besides like Sammy Guevara. Michael loves Jungle Boy too, Jett. But I told him flat out, I said, look, man, when he actually got that shot against who did he wrestle for the title?
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, when he got that shot against Kenny. I was just like, man, why in the world are they giving this guy the shot?
Jett. Harry, he couldn't stand Jungle Boy, man. That's why when you mentioned Jungle Boy, I was like, oh dear God, here we go.
Yeah. Man, come on. Yeah, you gotta give the guy some love.
But just like I told Michael, I said, look, man. I said, what are they gonna do? Once this guy lose, he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
I said they're gonna bury him. And Michael said, yes. He's not buried yet.
No, I don't think you're not gonna be able to. I don't think you'll be able to bury him. I think he's got too much. I think there's a lot of guys in the Chris Jericho and some of those guys that are fans of his. And he's been there. You know, he was one of. So when AEW was getting rolling and they started signing guys. If you haven't, I listened to the Jericho podcast, and one of his podcast was with the Jungle Boy, and he was in that. I think Jericho might have been in the text or something like that when they signed him over. So, and I think some of those guys had their eyes on him for a while. So he was one of the very first guys to be signed with AEW. So it wasn't like he came later on, or they were like scrounging for guys, to bring onto the roster. He was one of their
one of the originals,
top picks. Yeah. So I mean, they knew what they were getting with him, and I think they knew that he wasn't going to be the guy right away. But future, I see him at some point. I mean, he's still young, where he'll be the heavyweight champion at some point. I'm not saying next 5 years, but he'll be. If he sticks around with them, he will be. But if you watch him come out there, it's kind of hard now with with COVID and everything, but he'll always get a pop. When he won that ladder match or whatever it was to become the number one contender, I mean, they were going nuts when he won it. So, I mean, I think he was the right pick at the time to have that match. I don't think anybody thought he would go over against Kenny, but I think it was the right match, and it proved that he can be in there with anybody, and he can.
Oh, of course.
He can hang for sure. So he's only going to get better.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at like a 3-year window for him. I was looking at a 3-year window. And so, I mean, I'm just saying right now at this time, man, it just, I think they was trying to push him too far, too far, too early. And like I said, man, you can, it basically they don't went ahead and put him in a tag team. And he's good with this guy. What is the lizard man's name, Chris?
Was it Luchasaurus?
Luchasaurus, man. Yeah. Luchasaurus.
Okay,
he was originally
man.
He was originally in NXT,
Yes.
Yeah, he was over there in NXT, and then he got, I guess he got released. I can't remember what the backstory with his was, but yeah.
He's pairing with it.
And I think wasn't he a reality TV show? Wasn't he like in Big Brother or something like that?
I don't even, if it was Big Brother, I don't know.
I don't watch it, but I'm pretty sure he was like he was some kind of reality show guy too. I want to say it was like Big Brother or something like that, because he would always talk about like being a wrestler or something like that. And then, after that, he went, because he was in the independent scene. I think it wasn't long after he did the show that's when he went to NXT. He got signed. And then, he's kind of made his way in with AEW now.
Okay.
Luchasaurus, the old, was it Jurassic Express? Isn't that their name?
Express, Luchasaurus,
yeah. Chris, you was about to say something, man?
Yeah, I was about to say our one of our old running buddies, Dre, he was big into Big Brother. Yeah, and he was a big wrestling fan. So if he was in Big Brother, he would know.
He would probably know. I don't watch Big Brother. I mean, I've seen the show, here and there, but I just can remember that was some talk, and I don't know if I just like had looked up his backstory or something like that, and that's what it was. But I'm about 90% certain that he was with like in the Big Brother show or something like that. He did some kind of reality show, and that's kind of how he got it. He was an independent guy, and that's how he got his break. So NXT signed him after that.
He's a pretty good wrestler, man.
He's a big boy too.
Yes, he is. Is. Okay, next match, man. We had Dante Martin and Matt Sydal versus FTR. That was a pretty good match.
That was a good match, man. And FTR, they kept it balanced.
Yes.
Where they were like, okay, we're going to ground you guys for a while. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to let you guys jump and flip and fly all over the ring, do your thing. Then we're going to ground you. Then you're going to do, they kept a good balance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. And JR said it best. Those guys do remind me of Ole and Arn.
But he's at Arn.
Huh? He's at Arn and Tully?
Yeah. But Ole and Arn, too, either way. You know what
I mean? Either one of those combinations, that's who they remind me of. Yeah. And because I knew when they came out and they started wrestling back in NXT, I could tell who they definitely modeled their style after.
Oh, yeah.
But Matt Sydal and Dante Martin, Matt Sydal, he's a proven veteran. Oh, yeah. That Dante Martin, man, that boy, he's gonna be something.
Yeah, and that's who I think Jungle Boy should team up with. Is Matt, not Matt Sydal, but he should team up with that Dante Martin, man. Dante Martin,
really,
yeah, he should team up with Dante Martin. Because the way I see it, man, Jungle Boy is he's a high flyer too. He likes to get in the air and do a lot of things. But man, it's like Dante is pretty much has perspective, man, and he's only gonna get better with it. And I think Jungle Boy. I think the thing I have with Jungle Boy is like he's almost there, but it's like something is just holding him back. And well, I guess Chris will be back, man. Yeah. But it's like something with him that just holds him back to me. It's like he's not putting up. It's not that he's not trying to put 100% into what he's doing. It just doesn't come off all the time 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But did you get the tag team match a little bit? I mean,
yeah, I got to see clips of it. I like FTR. I think like you guys talking about what kind of style that they have. I think maybe it gets lost with some of the fans nowadays.
Right.
So I think like them coming over to AEW, they were hot at the time because the whole YouTube being the elite and the whole where the FTR came from and everything like that. They were hot coming in and but they're hot in NXT, and then they you get to the main roster and see what happens, and so now I feel like they had their little run, but I still feel like they're kind of like maybe the it's a little lackluster now for them just because of their style. I don't know. I mean, you guys see, you guys know like the way that independent wrestling and what people like to see with, especially in tag matches, like it feels like if you don't have those guys that are like flying through the air and stuff like that they kind of get bored with it.
Yeah. The days of the working the arm or the leg for
Right.
5 minutes, those days are over with.
Yeah.
Even though that is classic technical tag team wrestling, because you got to cut the ring in half and work a guy and work him, and then whatever the case may be. But this generation is a microwave generation. They want stuff quick. They want it fast. They want it. They really don't want to sit and watch you put a guy in an arm bar or a wrist lock for 45 minutes.
Right.
They don't have for that.
You kind of go and look at the tag, who's been the tag champions also over there in AEW. Like, who was the first ones? It was it Kazarian and Scorpio Sky? Were they the first?
Yeah.
Kazarian's still he's a little bit more grounded now because he's getting up there in age. But Scorpio Sky does this thing, and then you had Hangman Page and I think it was Kenny Omega, right?
Hangman and Kenny.
They're both high flying and do the stuff. So FTR, when they got him, that really didn't last as long as I thought it was going to with them.
It really didn't.
Everybody else now has been one of those teams that are, Young Bucks and now the Lucha Brothers and stuff like that, the high flying, doing all that crazy stuff. So where I feel like they just kind of like get lost in the shuffle. And with them being said, the whole was the group, the Pinnacle.
Yeah, the Pinnacle. Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that really does anything for them is kind of
what's going on.
What's up, man? We barely can see you. Keep talking, Jett.
Yeah,
I'm outside.
MJF? He's the only one that really makes a name. Sean Spears gets lost in the shuffle, and I feel like FTR does now too. So I thought with Tully being over there with him that would help, but it didn't really seem to matter. But like you said, Chris, it's not the old school way anymore either. So it's kind of like people that are younger and see them now. That's like, oh, who's that guy with them?
Yeah, Chris,
the name Tully Blanchard doesn't mean really anything with the younger generation. Like,
which is a crying shame.
Yeah. Chris, so I like their style. I like the hard hitting, and I think but it's just it's not for everybody anymore.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of why they're kind of, I don't know. I just feel like it might just be me. I feel like they get lost in the tag team shuffle. Really, it's just kind of like we know we don't want to lose them, so we'll give them a match, but we're not gonna make them the top guys right now because nobody wants. I guess they feel like nobody wants to see it. I don't know. I really thought they could have had a better run than they did with the titles, but who they losing to? Was that to the Young Bucks?
Yeah, it was the Bucks.
When they were faces, right?
Yeah, when they were faces, yeah.
Okay. Bucks. I thought it was them, so yeah. But yeah, who knows, man? I don't know.
All right, Chris. Who we got here?
Oh, this is one of our viewers, Maestro.
Okay.
Reggie, one of our faithful viewers.
What's going on?
Good friend of mine, and I've been trying to get him on the podcast for the longest, and he decided to pop on and be a guest tonight. Finally.
All right. Well, welcome, man. We're in the middle of AEW Dynamite. We was at the fifth match. Dante Martin and Matt Sydal versus FTR. Do you remember anything about that match Wednesday night?
I was in the middle of doing a podcast, so I didn't get to watch the Dynamite. I was gonna watch it tonight.
Okay, sure.
I watched SmackDown and yeah.
We gonna say that for another show.
All right, yeah. Most definitely. But we're glad you're here with us, and like I say, you'll be joining in. We'll just ask you pretty certain questions, but because we talk about a whole bunch of different things. So
did I miss the NXT 2.0? That I didn't miss that yet.
Actually, Harry covered. He did a solo show on that by itself.
Oh man!
Yeah, I saw that he did that.
Yeah,
he did a solo. He did a solo on that one.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Get that one done, huh?
It had to be done. It had to be done, man. So like say, hey, But anyway, let's talk a little bit about that, man. What you think? What y'all think about the colors, man?
Too bright.
It's definitely a different look. I don't know.
Yeah.
My room was lit.
Okay.
No, I mean I think it's
Now that fatal I did like that fatal 4-way. It was different, but I still felt the Vince in the presence, if that makes sense.
He definitely had his hand 100% in this.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope next week not going. Hopefully it do good. That's all I'm gonna say. But from what I've seen, it was like Raw and SmackDown had a baby.
Yeah. Well, it actually, in all actuality, man, it wasn't a bad show. Only thing, like I said on the podcast, man, the only thing I had against it was the fruit roll up cup colors. It's fruity pebbles, fruit roll ups, whatever you want to call it. That's what it was. But I do like the way they had it made it look like the ring was bigger and I like the way they had the fans spaced out.
The ring did look a little bigger.
Yes, it did. It did.
But it still looked like some fruity marshmallow crispies though.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, it's something, man, that's gonna have to grow on fans. It's gonna have to grow on. But I mean, it needs to happen really quick because you might have a few people tune out, and you might have a few people that stick with it. Who knows?
Well, they said that was like one of the higher rating shows they've had.
Yeah, because people wanted to, Jett. People wanted to see the change.
Yeah.
So
it
people.
I was pretty. I think you going with those colors or it's obviously if you're gonna change, it's got to be different from what you were doing before.
Oh yeah.
True.
So you were kind of like had the gold and black. So
right.
You got to go completely different direction when you're making a change like
that. And they did that. They went
they did.
far left field.
Yeah. And plus, like I say, you don't want to go with something traditional that's already been done in wrestling.
Right.
Somebody who's they did before. You don't want to go with that. So it pretty much came out of left field, man. And I mean, basically, they were showing us what was going to happen. So they had previewed it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So they didn't go and.
I want to see how they gonna use Rick Steiner's kid.
Yeah, Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
That name got to go, but I want to see how they gonna use him.
Well, you see, they put they put him over the first night, man. I mean, he took LA Knight out, and then
like a rag doll.
After Tommaso Ciampa become his second winning the second NXT title, they had Braun Breaker. Well, Rick is Bronson Rick Steiner. That's his real name.
Yeah.
Rick 2.0.
I watched him play football against North Greenville when they played. My daughter went to North Greenville University, and when they played Kennesaw State, I saw him play, and his name is Bronson Rick Steiner. But man, they know. And what was funny about it, a lot of people already knew who he was. They already knew his name. So, so it's kind of hard. It's going to be hard for them to keep that away. And I think after a while, WWE is going to go ahead and use his name because
it's funny too because I think WWE still likes to play like the fans are dumb, right?
Right.
Yeah, they know who these independent guys are, so they've known who he was before that. So they throw a name change in there, doesn't fool anybody.
Right.
And just to
so
go
they still
with,
know who he is. Yeah. I mean,
and just to go with what me and Harry were talking about earlier, Jett and Reggie. This is the information age.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can look up anything with a click of a button. Anything about anybody. And granted, you don't have those surprises as much as you used to because spoilers.
Yeah.
But now you have more access to everything. Yes, so if you're a true fan of the business of wrestling,
right,
you can really follow your favorite wrestlers and all these independent stars like yourself, AJ, and many others. And when I say AJ Frost,
And that's
Right.
so yeah.
and that's cool. That's cool. But don't kill my surprises. I like the surprise factor.
I think
Right.
it's gonna be hard to ever, but like you were saying, Chris, can you really have that surprise factor anymore?
Not really.
You know what I mean? Like,
There far few in
yeah.
between.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
think like the
Cause
last one I can really
that
remember
one
having like a
spoiler.
big like, and maybe it was like where it was a real surprise was back when this I'm trying to think what year this was now, but back when Shane McMahon came back. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
He came out that night and nobody knew he was there, and he came out.
nobody knew he was there.
Yeah, setting up the match for him and Taker at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when he came out, nobody knew about it. I mean, if people knew, it was genuine. Like people were like losing their mind when he came out there.
Yeah.
But that's the last one that I'm trying to think. Maybe there's another one, maybe here or there, that where somebody came to a promotion or came back or made a return where people didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you go on Facebook or anything.
Suzuki, and that's about it.
Right.
Suzuki.
Suzuki.
Yeah, that one caught me off guard. That one I wasn't expecting that.
Signings, who's coming, right?
Yeah, the AEW. Yeah, you
don't know when they're going to be there, but you know they're going to show up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a decent pop, but I mean, it's not like if the day of somebody showing up when Shane McMahon shows up. And I mean, even now it's the way the internet works and stuff. Now it's even harder, and every year and it gets a little bit more difficult to hold something like that back. So I don't know. I mean, that's the one I can think of the most. I remember I kind of like lost it a little bit. I was always a Shane McMahon fan, so when he came out there, that was pretty cool for me. But seeing Adam Cole and them show up to AEW is cool. But at the same time, you knew it was going to happen. It was just kind of like, how are you going to do it?
Yeah. But
so
yeah,
what would you give that match, Harry?
But yeah, we're gonna get to the match and just say, well, I give the match. I gave the match 4 stars, man.
Yeah, I give that a 4.
Yeah.
What about you, Jett?
Yeah, I didn't really get to see all of it, so I'm not gonna give that. I'm not gonna give that one a rating just because I have to go back and watch that whole thing.
All right, bro.
Before I can do that.
I saw that match, and I'm gonna go with what you said. 4 stars. It was real.
Okay.
I actually really liked that match. It was like
good match.
Not even going for. I still watch All Out. Like I'm still like, oh my god, this is like, Attitude Era style pay-per-view. I liked it, except for that Paul White. Yeah, that should have been for the pre-show.
That was.
Hey man, I'm still wondering what are they gonna do with the Giant, because like I say, they mentioned him. He was mentioned on Dynamite. So
man,
we're talking about Paul White?
Yeah, Paul White. Yeah.
I mean, on NXT, he was mentioned on NXT. Wait a minute. What is he on now? He's on Dynamite.
He's AEW.
AEW.
He was mentioned on Dynamite. So I'm wondering what they're gonna do with him, because who was that who attacked him, hit him with the
Billy Gunn?
Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
When the gun segment, Billy Gunn he talked about Paul White, and he basically was bragging about his boys, his sons, and so the Gun Club basically feels disrespected because they undefeated.
Billy Gunn, when he tagged with either one of his sons, they're undefeated.
Right.
He's like, us as a whole, we've had so many matches in between each other, and collectively we are undefeated, and we're getting disrespected. So he was like, you know what? To prove that we ain't no joke, we gonna just go out and take out the biggest guy on the market, Paul White, and there it is. So they basically were just saying, hey, we're tired of being disrespected. We're gonna take out literally the biggest star y'all got, and so y'all can see, okay, We tired of being pushed to the back.
Well,
we want our shine.
Disrespected, but I mean, they attacked the man with a chair. They actually came out there, act like they was gonna help him, then attacked him with a chair. So, how much respect are you gonna get? I mean, it's basically gonna put their name out there and give them more shine on in AEW. So maybe that's what they wanted to happen. So,
but at some point now they're gonna have to deal with Paul White.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm glad I ain't them. I'll say that.
Yeah, Paul's gonna kill him, man.
So, yeah, I've seen that man in person.
Yeah,
his hand can cover my head.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's no little joker.
All right, man. Let's go on to the next. Okay, one more thing I wanted to say about this WWE not wanting to give name recognition to these wrestler sons and things like that. William Steven Regal son is wrestling in NXT Europe. And
he's in UK.
He's in UK.
He can't use his name. He can't use the Regal name. So and the guy Bun, who was that? I can't remember his last name. He was in the 4-way match. Reggie Bun, the one.
Oh yeah. The replacement for O'Reilly
or whatever it was.
Yeah, Von Wagner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Wayne Bloom's son. So
yes,
and he can't use that. They say he can't use that name
either.
So
yeah, he was nice.
His daughter's in there too,
yes,
right?
He was nice.
Who's over there?
But yeah,
isn't his daughter a wrestler as well?
Wayne Bloom's daughter. I'm not sure.
I
think they did say that too. I heard that too.
I think it's like I had to look her up. I think she's still a little younger, but she's been over in the NXT UK for a while.
Yeah,
she's big on the independent scene. Her name's like Zaya something. I'll have to look it up, and I'll have to get the information on that. But I'm pretty sure he's got a daughter there too.
Yeah, but as far as before we get to the other match, man, as far as WWE, it's not something new that they're doing. I mean, they've been doing that for a long time, and even though we have the information age, I mean, they was doing it when the big promotions, when they was getting wrestlers from the big promotion, because man, when people would come from WCW. Before it was WCW, when Jim Crockett Promotions, Promotions, they would change those wrestlers' names then. So, but a lot of people on the East Coast didn't see those wrestlers. But man, if you was a huge wrestling fan, you actually did get your information, because our information, man, was wrestling books, wrestling magazines.
The
magazine. Yes. So you knew who these people were, man. I mean, that's one thing I used to love about wrestling. I used to love to see like somebody go from my favorite promotion, favorite territory, go to another territory, and I'll follow them to that territory to see how they're doing in that territory. So, that was even more of an information thing, because now it's like we see it on the internet or whatever. It doesn't stay in our mind as much as like if you're reading it on a book.
Yeah.
You might get that magazine, you might read that article 2 or 3 different times, sometimes more. But because it's just because it was something about being a wrestling fan back then. You get those wrestling books, man. If you got a hold of it, you read it as much as possible. Or
because you only got the one a month, so you
right.
Say one for a month before you got the next one. So
so you read that thing a good bit, and if
you read it a good bit,
and if I didn't get to read it, which like Michael King got, Michael's still on there. Michael, you're gonna hear this, but Michael said, he didn't, really have the money back then. He would go in there and read them, and sometimes I didn't have the money, man. I would go in there and I'll read those magazines probably the whole week before I was able to pay for that thing. So, so you pretty much knew where your wrestlers was going, man, and things, and like I say, man, when they would switch, because I mean, most of these companies will keep the same, keep that wrestler same name, that same gimmick. But when they went up to Vince, man, this is even before he really got really big, he would go ahead. He would change who their persona, man. He would change their character. It didn't matter if they came from the Mid-South, the Mid-Atlantic area, Georgia Championship Wrestling, CWF Global Championship Wrestling, World Class Championship Wrestling. He would change the image, man. He would change and say these guys, act like these guys wasn't nothing, man. But not everybody. Some of these people he continued to let be a star, like Junkyard Dog. I mean, he went from Memphis, still a star. Butch Reed was still a star, but he changed his name. He put the Natural on there. Yeah. But but it's very few people that he did that with. I mean, even Ronnie Garvin. When Ronnie Garvin went from WCW, and Ronnie Garvin was world champion in WCW at one time. It was Jim Crockett when he was in NWA. He changed him. He didn't change his name, but he used Rocket Ronnie Garvin instead of Rugged. Was it Rugged Ronnie Garvin, Chris, in Jim Crockett Promotions?
I just knew Ronnie Garvin. It was just Ronnie Garvin.
Yeah. But he changed it. He put it to Rocket Ronnie Garvin, and he said, "We never seen this guy before." Wow. But let's go on to the next match, man. We had Malachi Black. It wasn't a match, man. Malachi Black came out there and did his promo. Got in the ring, man, and he pretty much did some kind of like mysterious type thing, man. They had the lights off, and then he said, I want all my people to wake up, man. Wake up to the Malachi Black, whatever it was, the Malachi Black experience. And then he turned the lights on, and he focused on Rosario Dawson, who's out there. And he went out there and he faced her, and she
jumped on his back. Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, okay, Rosario, we see you jumping on folks' backs and holding on for dear life.
Right.
But then Dustin come out there, man. It wasn't no surprise.
No, Cody came out there. Cody.
No, Cody, not Dustin, but Cody. Yeah, he wrestled. Did you get to see last week at all?
Yeah, him and Dustin.
Yeah, he wrestled Dustin. Yeah. I thought Dustin did very well in that match, man. I was hoping Dustin had won a match, but yeah, Cody come down, and wasn't no surprise or anything. Cody just walking down, man, in his suit and everything. So
yeah, and they basically just fought back up the way they came out of, and taking beers and drinks out of people's hands and hitting them over the head and fighting back up the steps. So
I thought
you saw that one coming, though, right? Like you knew.
Oh yeah.
Time for Cody to be back.
Oh, of course.
So
Cody had to get some get back at some point, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it was time.
They kind of ran.
It was time.
They kind of ran the whole Black going through the Rhodes family thing, So really, Cody's the only one left now.
Oh yeah.
Full circle with it. So, I'm interested to see how they'll finish it up, though.
Yeah, I am too, man.
Yeah, we'll find out next week.
Yeah, they are wrestling, aren't they?
Yeah, it wasn't a match, man, but I'm gonna give that little segment a 5-star, man.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that was definitely 5-star, but I can see that build up to full gear.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna try. If they're smart, they will stretch that thing out. If they're smart.
Oh yeah. That is a good feud, man. For wrestling, it's something that I think people will be interested in, and it's something that, like I said, you could drag that out for a little while, man. So things like that they need to continue on with. Then we had Minoru Suzuki segment about Eddie Kingston, John Moxley. But
yeah, he was basically earlier that day. He was basically disrespected. He was disrespected because they didn't play all of his entrance music.
Yeah.
He was heated about that thing, man. So he's like, okay,
a lot of stuff, man. He was heated about the fans. He was heated with the referee. He was heated about a lot of things. He felt like he was disrespected, like you said. Well, Suzuki, he an old school Japanese guy, man. And, if you know anything about Japanese wrestling, the bottom line, respect across the board. Yeah. Point blank, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. From the smallest detail to the largest detail. Yeah. Respect. And he was just like, okay, y'all ain't give me a fair shake from the jump.
From the time I got off the plane to the time I walked in the arena, y'all had it in for me. And that's how he felt, man. So he was like, okay, don't worry, I'm going to get y'all back. And boy, never.
Okay, the next match, man, we had Bunny versus Annie J. No, wait a minute. No, they had a segment, and the Dark Order, back there with the Dark Order. Dark Order, those guys still at each other's throats.
They need to go ahead and just break them up, man.
Yeah, they do. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Either that.
It's the same thing all the time now.
Yeah, it is.
Either that or whenever that new acquisition comes, not going to mention the name, but we want you know who, put them with them. See how it works.
Okay.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't see that happening though.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I see him being there, but I don't see him being part of that.
Okay. What? So do you guys think Evil Uno is gonna end up being the heel here? I mean,
the way it's looking, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah. They basically gonna do a mutiny and turn on him, and he's just gonna be like, you know what? Screw you guys. I see what's going on, and just do his own thing.
Yeah. And you know, in the build up with him, as far as if you go back into the weeks before, man, when anytime they would come out, anytime Dark Order would come out to the ring to maybe try to save somebody or whatever, Evil Uno was the main one, man. He was in there the quickest, and it's like he was pretty much trying to get all the shine as far as anything.
Yeah.
So it was kind of building up to that you know, he wanted to be the leader and all that. So now that the old leader has went out and said, you know, I'm going out on my own, guys, I can do this on my own. You know, Evil Uno said, hey, he stepped in and he wants to be that leader, but people are looking at him in that group and saying, you're not a leader. We don't want you, because you're trying to, you know, I don't know. It's like he's trying to put a hard fist down on him, and they don't want it, man. So, Evil Uno, I think, is going to end up being doing his own thing, and he's going to be a heel.
Yeah.
So, all right. Then we had Dan Lambert. My man Dan was out there.
Yeah, that's your boy, Harry, all day.
Dan had he brought like 4 MMA fighters in there this time, didn't he? And plus he had Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page with him.
Yep.
So I mean, man, that joke, it's crazy. I'm like, who in the world who's authorizing this? Who's letting this guy come out there and talk like that, man? I mean, he's basically just destroying wrestling right now, and he's putting down the fans and everything, man. Most of these fans, man, they don't know what happened at Florida Championship Wrestling.
No,
they don't know what. They don't know nothing about Jack
Briscoe
and Dory Funk and all them.
Yeah, they don't know nothing about these people, man.
But, yeah, I'm sure half the crowd was on Google every time they said a name.
Yeah, probably so.
On Google, like, hold on, who did he say? Who is this?
But yeah, he said you guys gonna. He said
probably was like,
go ahead, Reggie.
They probably was like, hey Siri, who is that?
Exactly.
Hey Siri, look this one up.
Yeah. You guys go crazy for some guy that's 5'8", man, 146 pounds, go on the top of the doggone building to come back down and dive on somebody, man, cutting about 3 or 4 flips and all that, and think it's exciting. He said, "You people," he just cussing them out and all that. I was like, man, this guy's a little too much, boy. He is a little too much.
But I love it though, man. I love it. Man. I love it.
I mean, it shows it. Somebody. I mean, I don't know if Tony Khan father has gotten, you know, he probably was a wrestling fan from way back, and that's the type of wrestling that he watched. And he probably said, you know, I want him to get in there and do that, because who else, man? Who else is gonna send this guy out there in AEW in the AEW brass and say do this, unless it's Jim Ross or Tony Schiavone, and they're not gonna do it, I don't think. So somebody is giving him permission to go out there, man, and just rag on the fans and talk about old school wrestling and just I don't know. Because when it boils down to it, man, I wanted to talk about this at the end of this segment, this show. Cody Rhodes, I got to give Cody Rhodes because he's the one booking right now for AEW, from what I understand. He pulled, to me, man. I think he pulled out the old Dusty Rhodes playbook as far as booking. Because Dusty Rhodes was a great booker. He's one of the greatest bookers ever. He pulled out the old Dusty Rhodes playbook with booking, man. Because this stuff looked exactly like I say, it looked exactly like, man, some like 95, 96 WCW stuff. And so it just got that it's got that Dusty Rhodes vibe to it.
The only thing is Cody's got the offices. The office has his back. The upper brass, they have his back.
Yeah. But man, if he can go into the Dusty Rhodes playbook, man, he can pull all kind of things out, George Scott and everything. So if he got that information along with his booking style and what he's doing, because he's keeping it modern and he's trying to bring a little bit of the old stuff in there with it. So, hey man, that is some strong booking that he did, man. So I really appreciate what I saw Wednesday night. But yeah, that Dan Lambert, boy, he is a trip, man. And then you had who came out? You had
Jericho and
who came out?
Jake.
Whatever his name. And Jake has been, he's done some MMA stuff and all that. So Chris looked at it as hey man, this is my backup. And Chris said he's tangled with some MMA guys or whatever, but nah, Chris, no. I know he beat up didn't really beat up Goldberg, I mean, but pretty much I don't know what in the world Goldberg was doing when he got into that little scrap with Jericho. I know he probably, Jericho maybe can fight or whatever a little bit, but he couldn't go in there against those guys, man. They would tear Jericho apart, man. As far as those MMA fighters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. They would stretch him, man, and it was too many of them for Jake Hagar to fight by himself. Now, if it was 2-on-2, it'd be a whole different story, man. But I don't know.
But it was a good segment, though. It was a good.
Yeah, I liked it, man. I liked it. So I don't know, man. Anytime I see Dan Lambert, man, it's hilarious. So it's
man.
It's good entertainment, man. I'm gonna give it at a 4-star, man. I'm gonna give that 4 stars. So, all right, man. Then the Gun Club had their segment. We already talked about that, man. And they talked about them being undefeated, like I said, Chris. Anytime either combination of the three wrestle, and and what's name had to take the brunt of it, man, to get their respect. The big man. So Paul White. Yeah. All right, this next match, man, Jade Cargill versus Layla Hirsch, man. I really like this Jade Cargill, man. Like I said that back when we first started this thing. I really like this girl, man.
She's a little spark plug, man.
Yeah, man. She is a star, man. She's a star.
She's a little spark plug, man. I can get behind her, man.
Okay. Now this Layla Hirsch, man, small. She done very well in the Battle Royal on the pay-per-view. And she challenged Jade. Man, big size and big difference in size, man. Big difference. I say Layla Hirsch got to be like 4'7", 4'8", man. Probably 4'9".
Yeah, she's small.
Yeah, she's smaller than Jade.
She's not that big.
Then those Jade, Caden and Casey. She's smaller than them. And Casey and Caden over there on NXT, they're small.
Oh yeah.
But Layla, man, she's good. She's a good wrestler. She's I don't know how far she's gonna go as far as in the women's ranks, but I like to say I think as far as her wrestling somebody like Jade Cargill, man, that's just out of the question right now. I think when she gets a little bit more experience as far as what and a little more strategy of what she's gonna do against somebody that size. So we just got to see what happened. But man, I went ahead and gave that match 3 stars. So it was okay. It was okay. Anywhere between 3 and 5 stars, man. 3.5 stars. I'll give it 3 stars. What about you?
32.
Jett? I didn't get to see it. I'm gonna be honest, like
okay, you didn't see that
one? With AEW and their women's division, there's only maybe a couple of them I'll really watch. I'm not a big fan of their women's division right now. I don't think I like watching the match tonight. I don't know, we'll probably get to that in a few minutes, but I think some of their women's matches are pretty sloppy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was okay, man. I mean, Jade Cargill did a thing and all that, but we're gonna move on to that from that so we can go and get to Rampage. We had Andrade El Idolo. He talked about Chavo's interference, and one thing about this thing, man, with Chavo, the Chavo thing. Well, I mean, he beat up Chavo. Okay.
Yeah, he turned on him.
Yeah, he turned on him. So I think that right there, and which a lot of people were talking about last week. I think that right there was setting up for Ric Flair to be his manager because Ric Flair went out with him in Triple A Triple A in Mexico and stuff like that. And Ric Flair was coming to AEW. So, but we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, who knows now?
So Chavo might end back up with him, or we might have excuse me back with him. So,
oh god,
yeah, and she just got. I think she just got married a couple of weeks back.
Vicky did.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. CM Punk got jumped by Taz, Hook, and Hobbs. Man, that was the next thing that happened.
The only reason I felt bad for CM Punk, the table didn't break.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like,
that was a bad bump.
I was like, ooh. That's not the bump you want to take after being out for 7 years.
Well, he said, "Oh, man." He said, "Oh," I think that was real.
Yeah.
He was hurting. Well, it's gonna be either way. You get thrown through a table, it's gonna hurt anyway. But,
yeah. You want that thing to clap, so when you go on it.
Yeah, you wanted to give, man. That thing, all I heard was clink, clink, and then it just fell over, and I was like, oh.
So it does. If you haven't gone through one before, when it breaks on you, it basically takes your bump for you.
Yeah.
It don't fold up. Yeah, it's a whole different story then.
Right. Yeah. And Taz, like, you what y'all trying to do? Take my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was tripping, man.
Taz was, he was on one.
I like Taz though. He does a good job promos, and
he does,
especially with the heel. He does a good job.
Yeah. All right, man. We had the chairman, man, versus Darby Allin, the next match. Chris, what do you think about that, man?
It was all right, man. I really can't give it a high praise on that one.
Man,
I really can't. Something was missing. I don't know what it was. Something was missing.
I gave that match a 3 stars. Did you get to see any of it, Jett?
I didn't get to see that one tonight. No, that's that one I didn't get to see. I saw a little bit of when I was scrolling through like Instagram and stuff. When I got back to the hotel room, I saw like a little clips of it. But
okay.
I like Darby.
Yeah,
for his size and stuff like that. So I have to go back and watch it.
Okay, but I had to jump it up to 4. Chris, I ended up jumping 4 star because I added in, the FTR when they came in there and jumped Sting and Darby, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, I had to add that into it. So we look like there's gonna be a little thing with that, and we get to see Sting in the ring again. Now as far as Darby, I like Darby. I don't really like Darby that much. Michael don't like him either. Chris met the guy, but
he's a cool guy, but his style, I don't know.
But
it's definitely different.
It's different.
But I'm looking at Darby tonight. I mean, Darby has a lot of talent. He has a lot of talent, and I'm like, where is Darby going to end up? Now, with it as far as the ratings, the rankings, and everything like that. Where's Darby going to end up? Is he gonna because before we had the invasion, the new additions, he's one of the top 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
Is Darby going to end up being one of these guys like between 8 and 12 in as far as the pecking order going in AEW for the duration of the contract or whatever?
Yeah.
And I hate to see that. I mean, for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason it's kind of bothering me. But I feel that's where he's going to be. Chris, Jett, I feel like he's going to be.
Well, and you got to think about it depends on who else is signed too.
That's true.
They still talk about a couple other big names,
like Bray Wyatt and people like that coming.
Yeah. So talk about possible Strowman coming over there at some point.
Yeah.
So, and then you can think about it, you got some guys with them working with, Impact Wrestling and stuff like that too that sign over there and they come over that way.
Yeah.
Just like, Christian Cage is AEW, but now he's the Impact Heavyweight Champion. So
he's working both. He's working both.
Yeah, he works with both. And so, you never know what's going to happen there too. So, yeah, I see it. And that's kind of like going back to MJF, he's kind of like, I mean, he has something to do, but he's not a top 5 guy anymore over there.
No.
He's down. They'll always give him something to do, but is he going to be the AEW heavyweight champion in the next 2 or 3 years there? Probably not.
Yeah. He needs to go somewhere like NWA Power and become the champion. Him or Darby or something like that. They need to go over there and like I said, continue to wrestle in AEW, man, but go ahead and take their go somewhere where they can still be visible and wrestle with AEW too, but still be visible and win a major title somewhere else to where people can say, oh, okay, when they are ready to start making a climb back up the ranks in AEW, that they're still viable to people. So next, man, we had Bryan Danielson. He challenged Kenny Omega. Man, I don't know what y'all feel about that, man, but I feel a certain way about that. It's these like people like Bryan Danielson and stuff. I like Bryan Danielson, and we know. I mean, I think he was like four-time world champion in WWE, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 4 or 5 times.
His record speaks for itself, and what he's done in that ring speaks for itself. But I can't stand. I mean, that's one thing I don't like. As far as wrestling today, man, but it's what it is, man. I mean, it actually started back in the early 2000s where they will bring in a wrestler and put that person at the top of the ladder right off in an organization. I mean, back in the territory days, man, you started at you came in when you came in. I don't care who you was. You started at the bottom. You had to work your way up the ranks, man.
You're right.
I wish they would go back to that. Instead of having somebody come in and like say, boom, man, I'm here and I'm stepping over all the guys who was here before me, going straight for the title.
Well, I think you see that too. I think it's only him though, so much. Like they brought CM Punk back and he's a big name, but he's not doing anything like huge right now, right? Darby Allin's a decent match, but and then he's going at with the whole Taz group thing. So I mean, it's not like he's at the. I don't know. I don't see Brian. I'm a huge Bryan Danielson fan.
Right.
So, but I think we were talking about it before we started on live that I don't think the match that they're about to have is for the title though.
Okay.
So I see it being like somewhere.
Yeah, it's not.
Danielson will go over in this one, and then they'll have another one, and I don't think he'll.
They have a rubber match.
I don't think he'll be the champion. I don't see that being the case. I think it's just kind of getting him in there, and because everybody wants to see it, so instead of delaying it, they're just going to do it now.
It's gonna be for somebody to beat Kenny Omega for that title, in my opinion.
I do too. I don't know really who they're going to do. I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, that's all. That's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like,
they're going to ride this guy being the number one.
It's not going to be Bryan Danielson.
Not right now.
Not right now. No, not right now.
I really, before they he left with the kid. I think we were just talking about this. I thought it was to be Hangman Page.
Right.
Yeah.
And it still could be, with him taking time off and then, let some of these guys that just signed come in and do something and then, bring him back. And I could see it being him.
Okay.
The fans like him.
Yeah, he's over. He's over.
Yeah, he's definitely over. I think he's he's been there from the beginning, so why not let it be him?
Okay. Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna move on to this next match quickly. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus 2.0. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston, I call them Bruiser and Crusher, Chris. They're the new Bruiser and Crusher.
So, I could see that. I could definitely see that, man. But that match
good, but
that match 2.0. I like the fact that they're getting their name out there. They're getting a push. But as we've seen for the I don't think the second week in a row, but they can't break straight up. They always have to attack from behind.
Yeah. They got Daniel Garcia. He's their ace in the hole. He's without him, man, they're not. They can't do it. But let's go ahead and grade that match, man. I gave it a 3. I gave it 3 1/4. I mean 3.75. So C plus.
I gave it a 3.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't get to see that one either.
Okay.
Are you good?
I don't feel like by the way you guys talk about it, I don't feel like I was really missing out. So now I'm like, do I even want to watch that one?
Okay. But then we had
well now after that match, I will say this: Suzuki and Murderhawk came out.
Lance.
Yeah, Lance Archer.
Lance Archer. Yeah.
Because Suzuki, like I said, he was pissed off. He was like, "I'm gonna get my revenge," and they literally played his whole song. He came out, him and Moxley, rather. I don't know why I said Morrison, but him and Moxley went at it, and then Archer and Eddie went at it.
Yeah, because they're about to have that.
Fought throughout the whole arena, and then it just went off the air.
And I think that's why I went ahead and gave it a 3.75. Because that right there added to the match. I mean, the match wasn't really that great. It was okay. It was pretty decent though. It wasn't bad. I mean, but it just like to say, what's the name? Always got to get involved. Daniel Garcia. But it wasn't that bad. But overall, man, I give the show 4 point. Even though all the matches wasn't a 4, I give it 4 5, 4.5. I almost gave it a 5-star for the whole show. It was a great show, man. It was a great show. I really appreciate what I saw, and like I said, got to give Cody Rhodes, man, or whoever in the back who's helping him out, man. I give them major props because they did a really good job.
But since we did that, now I want to talk to my man Jett Morris, our special guest, Jett. So for the people that don't know you, I mean, me and Harry, we know you.
Right.
We've seen you work. Tell the people about you. How long you've been in the business? Who trained you? Just.
So I started back in beginning of 2019. So I'm going about almost 3 years now.
Okay.
So I've had, when I first started, my trainers were, you guys know, the Damian Legion.
Yes.
He was my first trainer, and then also Elite 19. They were but as you guys probably know as well as I do, the longer you're in it, you're gonna work with other people, and you're gonna, so I've worked with a lot of guys. Joey Reimer, if people don't know him, because he's a quiet guy, but he's been around for a long time. He knows his stuff, especially if you get in the ring with him and get to work, training and stuff like that. He's a good one. But just different stuff, not even just like the in-ring ability. It's like, psychology and all that stuff. So I've been, I've had several guys, and I know I'm probably going to miss names, but, and I'm not going to put out a lot of names because I don't want to do that right now with with the way everything works. But those were the two that I started with were the Damian Legion and Elite 19.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Was when did you make a decision and as far as wanting to become a professional wrestler?
So we did it where actually I went to American Pro Wrestling. APW is only like less than 10 minutes from my house.
Right.
So we've always talked about, me and a couple buddies would always talk about going there and watching the show, and I'd never been. And so I went one night with my kids, and then a couple. There was another couple, and their son had played baseball with Owen, so they wanted to go out there too. So we went out there and we just watched. Everybody knows I was a big wrestling fan and still am.
Okay.
And so we went to a show and we were watching the first couple matches up there, and the guy that was beside me kept like nudging me. He's like, "You think you can do that?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." And then we got to like match 3 or 4, and I was watching some of them. I was like, kept asking me. I was like, I think I could do that. I was like, I grew up playing sports. You know what I mean? I played hockey at a high level most of my life, and I was like, I feel like even with a smaller guy, I'm pretty tough.
Right.
But if you've wrestled and you've done the training and stuff like that, you've seen. It depends what the kind of mindset you go in there with too. There are guys that I've seen go in there and be like, "Oh man, this is wrestling. It's just like it is on TV." I go in there and it's easy, and it's not easy.
Right.
So you'll see that guy go out there and they'll start bumping, and you never see him again.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the best mindset was to go in there. It was like, this wasn't going to be easy.
Right.
And they didn't make it easy on me at all when I first started. But now why. They don't want to waste their time on somebody that's can't hang.
That's true. That's true.
So the guy kept nudging me, and I was like, yeah, I think I could do this. And somebody got some info for me. It was like, here's a number, call them. And so I called, and they called me back, and they said, here's when training is. This is what you got to do. And I think like the following Tuesday, I was up there training with the guys. So,
cool, man.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. So, did you ever, when you was a young man, when you was a child, did you ever think? You was watching it. Did you ever think, hey, there's something I would like to actually?
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
I loved wrestling. Like, we had a trampoline in the back, and me and my brothers and cousins and friends, we'd put on, our own wrestling shows and stuff like that. And I think everybody would after a while would get annoyed with me because I took it so seriously.
Right.
There's nobody there watching besides us, but I would take it seriously, and we'd write out cards and stuff like that. So I think it was always something that I wanted to do. Yeah. And I think it was funny because for my 21st birthday, we had like a birthday party at the house, and we got a keg, and my sister-in-law, well, she wasn't my sister-in-law at the time, but she is now, and she had taken a picture of me, and I was like throwing up the biceps and stuff like that, and she was like, "Future WWE champion," and I was like, "Yeah." So I mean, even then, I was like, I've always had a passion for wrestling, and think a little bit more than probably some people would believe that I did, just because of playing sports and stuff like that. It wasn't the same mix, you know what I mean? Like, they saw me as like playing hockey or ball or something like that. So wrestling wasn't it, especially at the age of 32 when I got started. Not many guys start at the age of 32. So
you like the Diamond Dallas Page of this thing, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but yeah, if we're talking about age wise, for sure. But I don't know about talent wise. But yeah,
Dallas was 40.
Yeah.
He was already 40.
No, I don't know. If it would have been a couple more years after that, I don't know if I'd been able to do it. I do take like the my background with like sports and stuff like that. I think if I never did something like that, I probably wouldn't have made it to this point. I probably never would have done it because I wouldn't have been tough enough to do it, honestly.
Yeah, because man, you playing sports. I mean, like saying hockey, man. There's a lot of contact in that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So definitely, man. If you can go through that and go through something grueling like that, football, man, you definitely can wrestle. So
So Jett, let me ask you this: you've been doing it, you said, about 3 or 4 years now. So, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you wanting to go through the paces, putting all the miles on your body, your car, and basically, as they say, doing this for a hot dog and a handshake, man?
But it really has been that. I don't know. I think like for me, it was more of like not wanting to like let a chance like this pass by.
Right.
Because it's always something, I felt like it was something I've always wanted to do. And, having 2 kids and letting them, they're wrestling fans and even bigger wrestling fans now that I do it. But, letting them see that, like, I guess it really doesn't matter your age. If you go in there and you put in the work, you're going to be able to do it. And so with them still growing up and playing sports like we talked about, I'm here now in a hotel room for my daughter's softball tournament in the morning. So, putting in the work to do that, I constantly tell them, if you want to get better at what you do, both her and my son, that, you got to put the work in all the time. And the top guys and whatever you do, wrestling, hockey, football, baseball, the top guys in those sports, they're still working at it all the time.
Yeah.
So
and I really wish the territories was basically like more established, like back in the day. Before the expansion of WWE and the expansion of Jim Crockett Promotions, which turned to WCW. I wish it was like that now, because I can see people like you. And like I said, I think you're very talented in that ring, man. I enjoy every time you go in. Like last time we went, I was like, is that Jett Morris guy on the card? Because I enjoy seeing you, man. So it's people out there that's in the independent scene, man, that I enjoy seeing. And I kind of think about it makes me think about the old territory days where you actually did make money. These guys made, I had a friend who used to wrestle back in the late 80s, who got into it. 90s, he was a manager with me. We was 2 young guys. We was managers at Hardy's and stuff. He wanted me to go into it because I really enjoy wrestling, man. But I was an amateur wrestler in middle school. We had wrestling when I was in middle school, so I amateur wrestled from 6th to 8th grade.
Oh, it looks like we lost him.
Chris, you're up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So, but yeah, like he was just a piggyback off what he's saying, man. You definitely, your love that you have definitely shows.
Yeah.
It definitely shows, and you basically keep going. Basically for like I said, a hot dog and a handshake, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's gotta be some serious passion, brother.
Yeah, it was just getting into it. I think for me was like, and anybody that's done it, so I've always been a shy person. So when I first started, I had no idea what I was gonna do. Like I was training, I was like, how am I gonna do this? Like, how am I gonna actually survive as a wrestler? So doing the tag team is what they put me in at first. And so that worked well. And I really think if I didn't do the tag team thing to begin with, I probably wouldn't be at the point that I am now, just because it gave me the confidence to have somebody out there with me, but to build, I guess, my game and my headset and, my skill set for wrestling to do what I was going to do now. But then even then, back in the beginning of 2020, I had to leave. And I don't know if we had even met at that point, but in 2020, I had to go and have surgery. I had hernia surgery.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of like, and the crazy thing is that I would probably never say, I hate the whole pandemic thing, that everybody has to deal with it. But if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't know where I would be. I would have been lost in the shuffle because everybody would have still been wrestling. I would have been sitting on the sidelines, healing from surgery and getting back into shape. And I guess for me, I got lucky enough that the pandemic happened and I got to get back in the gym and everything else while everybody's kind of waiting. We're all waiting to get back in the ring. And then when it finally happened, when we were told we could start doing shows again over there at American Pro Wrestling, it was time for me I was ready to get back in there. So luckily, it was almost like a redo, the refresh, let's restart and, start it over again. I was lucky enough to be in the middle of that whole restart. So that helped me out.
Yeah. Yeah, my partner, Harry, he just messaged me, said his phone got hot and it just shut down on him.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's what happened with him, man. So man, what do you? Oh, okay. It looks like he's coming.
He
There he is.
There he is.
Yeah, man. It got hot, man. It said you gotta wait a little while for you to use your iPhone, man. So I mean, I don't know how much longer. It might do it again. So if it is, man, y'all go ahead and finish the show.
All right.
But yeah, Jett. So what do you see for your career from this point on out to as long as you can go? What do you see for Jett Morris, the vigilante?
So for me, I see I can see me going at least another 10 years. So I'm 35 now. I feel like unless something major happens, I keep in pretty good shape. I'm usually at the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week. So I'm never gonna be the biggest guy, but I feel like if I can keep myself in shape, that I can take those bumps and stuff like that. But for me, it's just like it's getting out there a little bit more, and I think I'm at the point now where when I first started, I got some pretty good advice from, and I just hate to see it because you see guys now, and when you go training and they get people in their ear, and they feel like, especially when they're young, they're like, oh, if I don't start going to all these different promotions and moving around now, that it's going to pass me by. But at the same time, if you don't have the training and the skill set and the understanding, it's not that it's going to pass you by, but you're just going to fail at it.
Yeah, and you mess around and get hurt or hurt somebody.
You're going to hurt somebody, or you're going to look like crap in a match and at a big promotion, and then all of a sudden that promotion is not going to want you again. Right. So you're going to bury yourself, really. But when I started, I got pretty good advice, and I was told, like, especially at American Pro Wrestling, like, get your skill set up, learn about the business and what you can do, and give yourself somewhere between 2 and 3 years, and then you'll be able to go and do it. And I think I'm at that point now where I'm at that 2 or 3 years, and I've you guys have seen me kind of do some other shows as well,
right?
And there's other shows that I'm getting contacted all the time, and unfortunately, a lot of times I'm not able to do them just because of my crazy schedule with my kids and their ball. But they keep reaching out. So hopefully, at some point, near the end of the year, when ball slows down, I'll be able to go and do some of those shows, because there's guys that I see that I want to work. So that's the plan for me, is to do this for another 10 years and to get a name out there. And I don't know if I'll be the big name, but I would like to be one of the guys that in the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, area where, have one of the bigger names. And, I don't know what I'll make out of this, but, I think it's going to be like, hey, you're going to get called up to AEW or no, but, I like doing this, and I like being able to get in front of the crowd, and you play a character, but at the same time, it is me. And I had to build to that point. But I remember when I first came back and I did started the vigilante gimmick, and people were like, "Well, he's really quiet. He does it well." That's why I picked that gimmick, because that's who I am.
Yeah,
I am quiet, and I've always been that way. But now I've started to build it up, and I kind of put that emotion out there in the match, and that's how I was as a hockey player. Was I was very quiet, and that's why I do what I do now. I have the logo with the the V for vigilante, and they got the hockey sticks at cross, because that's kind of a combination of both. And I was always a smaller guy, but I've talk trash and get underneath somebody's skin, and so that's kind of what I put into the whole wrestling thing now, is I put that gimmick in there. And I didn't want to do like a goon gimmick or something like that where it's completely hockey, but because I'm a huge like vigilante fan, the Batman, Green Arrow, stuff like that. So putting that all together kind of was just like it felt right to do it that way. So I had to learn how to be a little bit more vocal and a little bit more, other than just shaking, slapping hands when you go out there with the fans, get them involved in the match. But, it was your boy, actually, Chris Danny, who had kind of like got me going a little. He had riled me up
Really?
one time. Oh yeah.
Oh,
He said
tell
something, I
us
heard
about
him.
that, man. Tell us about
Yeah,
how
I heard him during one of the matches, and I don't know if it was during the match or when he would put like the show on Facebook, and he was commentating. I don't remember who I was wrestling.
Need a second, guys.
But he said something, and he said something about like how I was, I don't think he meant anything bad by it, obviously, but it was like he's very quiet and talk about not the wrestling skills so much, but just about like how I was so quiet and that I almost seemed like I was disrespectful to people because I guess I didn't talk a lot.
Oh wow!
Just like oh, that's not the case. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm trying to play a part.
Yeah.
But you know how it works, and so I was kind of like, okay, well, if he sees it, other people might be seeing that or thinking the same thing. So I was like, not that. I guess with that being said, like what he said kind of set something up for me. Like, okay, well, he's probably not wrong. So that kind of just had to. That's where it's the gimmick for me. Even though I was comfortable with it, I had to kind of change it a little bit too, so people can see that there was some emotion and stuff there. But I love it now. I love the way the fans are, and you guys were there for the dog collar match.
Loved it. I did commentary for it.
Yeah, it was great, man.
And so that was
outstanding.
That's probably been the biggest. That was obviously a story, but at the same time, we put a lot into that story, and that's something we wanted to work for a while. And so we did use, you got to play a part, but you use that emotion and stuff like that. And I think it really worked out for us when we did do everything, when it all came to an end in that dog collar match. And that's probably the most fun with all the matches I've done and the good people and, wrestlers and feuds that I've worked, and I've been in 2 TLC matches and an I Quit match and some steel cage matches in my short time. But that's probably the most fun I've had. And I think the way the fans reacted to it too really helped.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean it even though I did commentary for that match, and and I talked to your opponent, Dagon, in that dog collar match. And he basically, it was the spot where he was hanging you.
Yeah. Okay.
On the rope.
Yeah.
He literally heard me in my commentary, was like, oh my God. He said he heard me.
Right.
Out of everybody in the ring, he heard me.
Yeah.
He was like, I heard your voice. And I tried not to laugh, but he was like, at that moment, okay, I got them. They're right where I want them.
Right, yeah.
And I can't lie, that brought out the fan in me. Right. And as a performer, that's what you want to do.
Yep.
Even though I'm there with you guys, I'm doing commentary, I see what you guys do, you still want to touch even the inner fan of the people that you are working with.
Right. Yeah.
That's when you do that, you have something.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt.
You have that it, because you be like, okay, they did this last week.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, they're gonna do this.
Yep.
And you're just like, why we gotta wait 2 weeks? Why we can't just have it now? Because this, you've already said, you've already put it out there. This is where we're building from.
Right.
We can only go up. And your stock is definitely going up, bro. I mean,
I appreciate
that's the way I see it. What weight and height you being billed at right now?
So I'm pretty honest about it, with them. So
okay.
So I don't even know if they announce our height, but I know weight. I go by 170.
Okay.
And that's what they usually announce, and I'm usually around that mark.
Right.
I'll go anywhere between like 168 to 172.
Okay.
So it's been like that for a little while now. I kind of I can't lose it. I can't gain anymore. I'm just kind of stuck. So I'm usually around that area, especially when it comes on a Saturday. So
right.
Yeah, I'm pretty honest about that. And like I said, I don't know if they've ever announced our heights over there at APW or anywhere I've been.
I know they usually do the weight. William usually
they do the weight and they do where you're from. I don't know if I've ever had somebody do the height for me.
Yeah, I don't think he's done the height yet.
Yeah, you just look at height as far as wrestlers. You know, you see that listed on like Wikipedia and things like that. So
I know they always like bump it up, right? So
it's always bumped up.
Yeah, I remember like watching an interview with like Daniel Bryan when he returned or something like that, and they like put him at like 6 foot, and he's like, I'm only like 5'9".
Yeah,
he's like, but they
got him listed at 5'10".
Yeah,
no,
he's not that big. It's kind of like what's his name, Adam Cole.
Yeah,
you know, Adam Cole. They got him listed at 6 feet, but there's no way.
Yeah, and he's not a big guy either. Though.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
I mean, he might be. I mean, he's probably a little bit bigger than he's obviously probably bigger than I am. So he's probably around 200. But I think they announced him before, like in NXT, he was like 220 or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. So
but
I doubt it. He's not that big.
Yeah, he's only like 5'9", 5.
Yeah,
if that. I mean, he's and that's the reason I was telling people when you know, he was negotiating with Vince. Well, when he met Vince, I was like, you know, this thing it's not gonna go down because Vince basically, you know, said straight up he didn't want any more small guys. So I wish he would. Well, I wish he would have kept him, man, because doesn't really matter now. I mean, you wrestling has changed to where you're gonna have more smaller guys. It's just that's just the way it is. But that's it, man. Pretty much like I said, you know, I gave that match the show a 4.5 stars. What did you give it, Chris?
I give it about a 4.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, but what I saw was pretty good on that.
Yeah, it was really good. But you know, we can go into. I mean, there's only a few matches on Rampage. If you guys want to knock that out, we can do that.
You up for it, man?
Do it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, AEW Rampage, man. We just seen that a few hours ago. First match, man, the Butcher and Blade versus the Lucha Brothers. What did y'all think about that, Chris?
That it was a good match, but it could have been better. And I say it could have been better only because of time restraints.
Right.
Time restraints. That's what basically held it back. And I love how they basically tied Penta's.
Yeah, I was gonna say that whole match felt like it was just a build up for that, right?
Yeah. And he basically was like had to dive and break up the pin with his hands over his face. And
wasn't it like he had the hands over the face, hit the super kick or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
hands over his face. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's right.
I never seen somebody get their mask tied up, man.
No, that was new.
That was original. That was original.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I didn't even put a rank. I didn't even put a number down. I didn't put how many stars I gave this match. But
I would give that probably about a 4.
Yeah, no.
It could have been if they had more time. If it was, let's say on a pay-per-view or something, that could have been a 5-star match.
Yeah.
But the time
I gave that one probably a 3.
I gave it 3.5.
Just because of like you said, it was kind of like a build up for like that one part, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they were out there wrestling, but if it would have been like a true wrestling match for maybe the tag title, you know, an honest tag title match or something like that, it'd probably been a little bit better.
And it's Party of 5, man. Not Party of 5, but Private Party.
Private Party.
An attack. And the Lucha Brothers were saved by the dead presidents, man.
Ortiz and
Yeah.
Santana.
Yeah.
So you know, overall, like I say, man, it was okay match, you know, but for some reason, man, Rampage, this right here started Rampage off wrong for me. It was just like, it kind of, I don't know. It was something about that. I think maybe if they was
like I said, it was the time restraint. It was rushed.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Okay. All right, but 3.5, 3, and 4. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a 3.5 from the Straight Up Wrestling crew. All right, man. Let's go. Next we had the Bunny versus Anna Jay, man. And pretty much before that, like I said, they did all of the talking. The Bunny was talking her junk, and then they had Anna Jay. She was saying Anna Jay shouldn't have gotten in the way, man. So go ahead, Chris. You was talking about the match, starting off with the match.
Yeah, it was somewhat of a slow build up.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have been a lot better, but something was missing on it too. Something was missing. This whole Rampage just didn't. I don't know. It didn't
hit off right. It didn't hit off right.
Yeah.
So I'll go and say I'll be nice and give it a 2.
Okay.
That's why I was going. That's where I was going.
I mean, like I said, what I said earlier, I'm not a huge there's only a couple women in the AEW women's division that I'm impressed with.
Right.
I was that match. That whole match just felt like sloppy, and there was a couple. You go back. There was a couple major botches, which are gonna happen, but there were some pretty bad ones that came out through that match. I was more waiting for it to be over with.
Yeah. Well, actuality, I gave it a 3 at first, but I bumped it up, man. I had to bump it up. I bumped it up to a 4 because of the brass knucks. That brought it up for me, man. So,
you and that violence, man.
Hey, the brass knucks, man, took out 2 women with that. So I brought it up, man. I had to.
Well, that was the high spot of the whole match, and that what happened after the match.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I gave it a whole star for that.
Hey,
all right. That's hard for me to give a match like that. So you're telling a 4 is high though.
It is high, man. But hey, I had to have something after that. After the last match, man, I was expecting more. So I was like, something has to give, man. So so like I say, this match could have been like I agree with you, Jett. It was basically like at a 2, between a 2 and 3. But man, I was like, man, I'm trying my best to find something here. And so I kind of like the arguing between. I went ahead and gave a little. I went ahead and gave a star for the those two arguing back and forth, and the brass knucks. So
I felt like so maybe it was just me. I felt like there was too many people ringside.
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt like that, and it felt like the camera kept going to Matt Hardy, and then outside was taken away from. I'm like, okay, we get that they're out there. You don't got to show them that many times, though.
Yeah, and then Matt Hardy goes in and attacks.
Yeah, then he does the promo. It's kind of like,
excuse me, not a fan, but he attacks a plant.
Yeah, he tagged the plant, man. But
that was so. I mean, that was so obvious, right?
Let's say he was a fan, and let's say he was a fan, okay? And he attacked this guy. He said this guy looks like
I can't
Cassidy. Yeah, come on.
What let me know he wasn't a fan off the jump? How you grab anybody out their seat? Who's gonna do it
back?
Yeah, they're gonna fight back.
Yeah. And then on top of that, what fan that you just gonna grab and flip them over the rail and do a perfect front bump over the rail? I'm like, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah, that guy, and what was it when he gave him his finish? I can't even think of the name of the finish right now. But he took that front bump pretty good too. I was like, okay, he's done that before.
Yeah, I'm like, this is no fan.
Yeah, that was not his first time bumping like that.
Yeah, no. But I tell you what though, man, the poor guy got his hair cut, and then we had
poor guy. He probably got paid a pretty penny for that too.
Oh yeah.
Let's cut your hair off, and here's a good chunk of change. Yeah. Have a good day.
Okay, sure, why not?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, I thought precisely Mixed Tane was gonna get his hair cut too when he came out there.
Well, actually, that's the stipulation of him and Matt Hardy's match.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's basically hair versus hair.
Yeah.
Well, man, I think they're trying to do. I don't think he's gonna beat I was gonna call him precisely Mixed Tang again. But Orange Cassidy, man, I don't think Matt Hardy's gonna beat him, man. They're gonna actually put him over Matt Hardy again.
I think it's gonna be like the whole Matt Hardy will get the head cut, but it won't be. I don't see them cutting it bald.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I think it'll be like, it'll be shorter. The ponytail will be gone or something like that, and then he'll get like pulled out of the ring, and so he'll have to get a haircut where it's like shorter. But I don't see them shaving his head bald.
Yeah. Who does this music for Orange Crush, man?
Orange Cassidy? I don't know who that is.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Get on my flipping nerve, man.
It was the first time I really noticed his entrance music, I think, and I was like, "Well, that doesn't sound like very intimidating at all."
No,
it really doesn't.
Especially with his march, I'm gonna come out here and get in a fight. Not with that background music, buddy.
No.
I like, man. You sure the Pepsi company ain't doing this music for him, Chris?
I don't know who's doing it for him, man. But
Orange Crush is owned by what's the name now? It used to be Pepsi. It's owned by RC Royal Crown.
Yeah.
So Royal Crown might be doing his music, man, because this is awful. But hey, he seemed to like it, man, and he seemed to be cool with it. It brings him out with a relaxing presence, man.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. But hey, on to the next thing, man. Ruby Soho, the Britt Baker, your girl, Chris. Britt Baker, Ruby Soho segment.
I loved it. I loved it.
It was good.
I give that whole segment a 15.
Hey, man, that right there was the showcase of the night, man.
I give that, like I said, I give that segment a 15, man.
Yeah, that's what actually took the show over. That actually put. So
that was by far the best thing of the night.
Yeah. And I definitely love the truth bombs that were getting slung around out there. I was like, oh yes.
Yeah, Britt was like, man, she was like, oh my gosh, she couldn't say anything, man.
Well, it was all true.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Everybody know you because of you continue to do that DMD. And like you say, Chris, everybody repeats it, man, but she does it so much, man. It's just like, I don't know. It's crazy. But I mean, Britt's gonna continue to get over with that stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
then I love how Ruby was like, you get over by screwing guys in the back, and then you got your head up Tony Khan's ass. I was like, oh my god. Man, that knife is sharp tonight, boy.
Oh yeah. And, I mean, she got Tony Schiavone where she wanted, man. He'll lick the floor for her, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It just, like I said, I want what's that girl? I want Jade Cargill to continue to move up the ranks, and I want to see her and Britt Baker get into a feud for this title. Because I don't really see any other female in AEW, man, that can really challenge.
Yeah, who do you think could take the title from Britt?
Well, it's not gonna be Ruby.
Yeah,
no.
But
Ruby's gonna get the belt, but
I don't really know at this point who it would be.
You think Ruby's gonna get the belt, Chris?
At some point, yeah. At some point, I don't know when, but at some point she will have it.
I don't think so, man. So
you telling me she gonna do her whole AEW stint and not get a strap?
I don't. She might get. I don't know, man.
That's why I said at some point.
I don't know.
Soon.
I think she will at some point as well, but no, it's not going to be this upcoming match. It's
not
going to be with Britt.
No.
And that girl.
I really don't know who would take it off Britt right now. She's so. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the AEW women's roster.
Yeah.
But she's by far the hottest female wrestler on their roster.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Jamie Hader is gonna turn on her. The girl from England.
Yeah, that could be.
She's gonna turn.
They teased. They really did tease with her for a while. A face turn too, and now it's kind of like they've gone back. Making the heel again.
Yeah, but she's gonna turn on her, and I think she's gonna have a run at it. But yeah, Ruby Soho at some point, maybe down the road, Chris, she's gonna become the champion, I believe. But Britt Baker will take it back. I don't know. But like I say, this that girl Cargill or whatever, Jade Cargill or whatever. I think it's Cargill, right? But she continues to build up, man, I think that's who's gonna actually. I can see her being a champion within a year or so, somewhere. If she's not gonna be the champion here, she might have to do it somewhere else. But she's something special, man. She got the look. She's got the look, and she's definitely a strong female. So, but AEW, man, they got a lot of women. They have a lot of women. It's just
they do. They do. They have a very strong roster.
Yeah,
of women. They do.
Yeah. So, but next, man, we had Miro versus this dude with the car, man, Fake Odell Soul.
Yeah, it was an alright match.
Yeah, that was an okay match, man. I give it a 2.5.
Yeah, I'll go with about 2.5 with it as well.
I'll go with a 2.5 too. Yeah. What's up with that? So 2.5 from straight across.
Yeah.
What's up with the car, man? What kind of car was that, man?
I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell.
He was basically hiding the front of it, like standing in front of it, so you couldn't tell what kind of car it was.
Yeah. I really couldn't make it out what it was.
Yeah. Maybe it was a Volkswagen. It looked like a Volkswagen, or
it wasn't a Volkswagen. Not from the headlights.
I don't know what it was.
I didn't get to see the headlights. I just saw the front, the top of it. But it looked a little too big to be a Volkswagen. But I don't know, man. It kind of looked like the new Jettas a little bit to me, though, Chris. A little bit. But I don't think it actually was. Couldn't have been too. I don't know, man. Either way it go, he lost it.
Well, no, he didn't. He didn't lose it because if you look, Miro attacked him after the match and shoved the keys back down his throat.
Oh, he did. Yeah, Miro said he didn't want it. So Miro said he didn't want it.
He don't need it.
No, he doesn't.
No, he don't. He don't need it at all, man. he don't need it, man.
But Fago need to stop, man.
Yeah.
And like I say, he already got his butt beat by. He got Malachi. That was him who got kicked by Malachi Black that time.
Yeah, the way he took that bump was too funny, man. I kept rewinding it back, man. It was just hilarious.
That definitely was him. But man, I don't know what to give Rampage for the night, man.
I give it
it wasn't good.
I'm gonna give it a 3 with the strength of the Ruby Soho and Britt Baker.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'll give it a 3, but I'll definitely that promo between the two. If it wasn't for that show would have been.
It would have been a pits.
Good tonight. Yeah, they saved that show.
They really did.
2.5, man. I want to give it a 3 so bad, but
just
being straight up.
I can't.
Yeah, I don't think none of the matches were good enough for it.
No.
Like I said, the first match, if they had more time.
Yeah, the first match could have done it. They really could have done it, but
they didn't have enough time.
Yeah, with them cutting it short, that killed it for them.
Yeah. So, Chris, you said a 3. Jett, what you say, 2? 2.5?
Oh, yeah, I'm going 2.5.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to go 2.5, man, for Rampage.
Yeah, that's about good. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I can't. And, man, once again, I'm Harry Bernard Taylor with my man, Christopher Burton, and my man, Jett Morris. And if you get a chance, you're in the upstate, man, anywhere, North Carolina, South Carolina, Western North Carolina, Georgia, if Jett's out in Georgia or whatever, check out the independent wrestling scene, man, and see who's on the card. And if Jett's on the card, get out and see him, man. I think he's a great wrestler. He definitely impressed me. I love watching him wrestle, and that's saying a lot because I'm really tough on wrestlers. Because like that, I've been watching it since I was like 6 years old, and that's almost 50 years ago. I go back to watching wrestling since '72 when I was like 5 years old. My brother, introduced me to it. I really I'm sitting there looking at it. I wanted to watch Gilligan's Island, but he was watching wrestling, and we only had three channels.
Right.
So I had to sit there and watch wrestling, man, and I basically didn't know what was going on. I remember George and Sandy Scott. Those were the first two I remember. And then in '73, he kept watching it. And I'm in first grade, man, and I'm crying. I want to watch, I wanted to watch the Super Friends. He watching wrestling, because it came on earlier at that time. I'm watching it. I got to be 7 years old. Go over to my grandma and my aunts and all them, my uncle. They're watching it, so had to sit there and watch it. If they were watching
you got shoved down your throat. You was gonna end up watching.
Down my throat.
You're gonna watch wrestling.
Yeah, they were watching every Saturday morning.
The hell with what you want to watch. You gonna watch wrestling.
Yeah, every Saturday morning I got peanut butter wafers, the old Murray's peanut butter wafers, and milk. I had to sit down and watch wrestling, and on Mid Atlantic Wrestling, and on Sunday nights, man, we watch Worldwide Wrestling, Mid Atlantic too. So I had to watch it, and like I say, but Wahoo McDaniel was the first one who actually caught my eye. That everybody, go man. So I was 7 years old, man. Even though I'm watching wrestling, and like I said, I knew the names of Sandy and George Scott, and maybe Abe Jacobs and Baker. I knew their names, man, but I really didn't get the nuance of how people really didn't talk about them like they talked about Wahoo. And Wahoo was just this tough chief. And so that's when I really started really putting a focus on wrestling. And when, and I saw Rip Hawk and Ric Flair in 1974 before the plane crash, and then he came back, Johnny Valentine and all that, before the plane crash, and saw how great these guys were. And I was 7 and 8 years old. So that's really when I started seeing the quality of wrestling and started grading wrestlers and seeing how good they were. And so, you impressed me, man, and you only been in the business for 2 years. I thought you had been doing it longer than that.
Nah.
You impressed me with what you do in the ring, and in all actuality, man, you look pretty your size wise, because of the other people in the business now. Your size look pretty good in there, and man, I hope you continue to move up into a little bit bigger promotions. I don't know how they'll use you or whatever, but I mean, I know if I would have saw you probably in organizations like Georgia Championship Wrestling or Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling, man, you would have been somewhere. I think you would at least got mid card, at least close to it. Yeah. I'm not gonna say, but I think you could at least got into something like that. There's people that got over, man. I know that you in eyes then. I mean, you would have been enjoyed championship wrestling. Easy. I think you probably would have been, in the top 12 in Mid Atlantic Wrestling, and that was Jim Crockett Promotions. You would at least been, anywhere from top 12, anywhere from like 8 to 12. I think they would use you because they had a Jim Crockett Jr. He did have a pretty good cruiserweight division even back then. What they call them, the junior heavyweights back then.
Right.
Back in 70s and 80s, man. He had Les Thornton, Boris Malenko, Dean Malenko's father, Chris, and some of these guys, man, they was 170, 180 pounds. They was around your size. They were small guys, but they could really move, and they could really do a whole bunch of things. But they didn't actually have a lot of matches, but they had the world's, the NWA World Heavyweight title that used to go around at that time. So you would have had to do a lot of traveling. But man, I would have loved to have. And when I first saw you, that's what I did. I imagined you back in that day, and I'm like, man, he would have done really well. Maybe not against John Studd or somebody. But
no, probably not.
Yeah, you would have done pretty well, man. So I look forward to seeing you more in the ring, man. And we
appreciate that.
So Jett, tell our fans, man, where they can find you, man, where they can locate you on social media, whatever.
Yeah, so if you look me up on Facebook, it's really under my real name, Joey Green. Instagram, same way as Joey the Jet. That's usually the two platforms that I use. I got a YouTube channel, which it's under the Vigilante Jett Morris. So I'll post most of my matches there. But if you're looking to find me live, usually on Saturdays, I'm at American Pro Wrestling in Bowling Springs, South Carolina. Address is usually you can go on my Facebook page and find any kind of promo poster or whatever, and it's on there. But I've worked some CMW, which is kind of an up and coming promotion. They just had their first live show near the end of August, so we did that. Which went, Chris, you were there. It went really well. It went a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah, I was happy with that, and hopefully the future with CMW is going to be pretty bright going forward, and we seem to have a lot of talent that's coming over that way. So we'll see what happens there. I enjoy my time over there as well. I've enjoyed my time with American Pro Wrestling. And then, just there's some other shows out in Orangeburg and stuff like that where I've had a couple bookings that I'll be out there in December and stuff like that. So there's one, I think, December 11th, maybe. They got I can't remember the name of the promotion. There's so many different promotions out there, as you guys know. And it's hard to keep up with all of them. But it's December 11th. I do know that. And it's the Toys for Tots show. So hopefully there'll be a good turnout with fans and workers and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that one. So hopefully, like I said, as the year goes on, near the end of it, I'll be able to pick up some more shows when these kids slow down a little bit. So we'll see. Find me and I'll be around. I'm not going anywhere. And his pro wrestling. You guys were there at the last show. I think that the next one was supposed to be October 1st, and I want to say that's not 29th. The right date. Yeah, I think you moved it to 29th of October. So I'm excited about that one too. So a lot of good stuff coming. There's if people are wrestling fans and they don't know it, until I got in the wrestling business, I did not realize how many wrestling promotions were around. So if people are looking and they love wrestling and they want to go to shows, they can find one. There's not too many that are far away. So on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they'll find some. And I do just want to say that if somebody sees this and I don't promote it, the fair is coming up. And American Pro Wrestling has the fair show this year, and we will be there Monday through, I'm pretty sure, Saturday.
Oh, wow.
I think he's doing
it all week.
Yeah, I think he's going to be there all week. Wow. Originally, it was supposed to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I think now it's changed that they're going to be there all week. So the only day I will not be there will be on that Wednesday, but I'll be there to work at least a match or two during the rest of those days.
Okay. Okay, cool, man.
Yeah, so if anybody's out at the fair, come on out. There'll be the show. Start time will probably be 6 or 7 o'clock on those evenings, and until the crowd dies down. So come on out.
That's good publicity too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll be a good time. So
yeah.
Well, Jett, we definitely enjoyed having you, man, and
I appreciate you guys having me.
We know you've been wanting to get on the show, so
yeah, and we gotta do it again. Next time we gotta talk some football or something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And when you guys get back to watch American Pro Wrestling, we'll go catch a couple more beers.
All right, man.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Beers and wings, boys. You know how it goes.
Oh, of course, our ritual. Our usual ritual.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right, man. No problem.
Boys, I'll see you later. Have a good night.
All right, you too, man.
All right, later.
All right, later. All right, Chris.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. It's been a long show tonight.
Yeah, we had Reggie on here tonight. So he did his little segment out in the dark, but we appreciate his input.
Yeah, he had emergency call. He wasn't able to get back on, so hope everything's okay with that. And we had our special guest tonight, Jett Morris.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, we both know him. We've talked to him and seen him outside the ring and everything. So yeah, man, it's been a good night, man. It's been a good night.
It has. All right, man. Shoot. Well, to the next show, man. We need to jump into that SmackDown.
Yeah, we definitely gonna get into that, man. Getting that SmackDown, and So
like you feel in the morning, man. But like I'm on, me and you, we got some business to take care of tomorrow. So,
of course. But yeah, until then, though, fans, we're out of here, man. In the words of our buddy Michael King.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace be the journey.
No doubt.